Uganda, good morning Africa, good morning the world at large. I welcome you back to Behold Africa, your favorite morning show where we bring you the latest trends, the latest news, what you didn't know, what is not without knowing. We bring it to you live here on Behold Africa. Now I would like to know where you're watching us from, and some reactions about the show. As usual, I am your host, Jude Klein, and my co-host.
Now, sure, Brenda, good morning, Africa. Good morning, everybody watching us live. How is your morning? Well, actually, in our off year, it's not so much cold like the previous day. Yeah, yeah. But we ask you, how is the place where you are? You can we always only tell you that as you're watching Behold Africa, exactly 7 up to 8:30. Please share your comments and follow us on other social media platforms, which is Youth Media YouTube, Youth Media Facebook, and Youth Media Twitter, and also Youth Media Instagram. We're always there. But also share the link to others who also to follow us and you get engaged in the discussion that are going to come on in that day. Don't forget, this is Behold Africa. Behold Africa is brought to you by the Fundamental Rights and Protection, who say rights matter and they're there to protect them for you.
Now, keep in mind today is 2nd of December. The month has begun, its marathon like any other month. It starts off, slow but picks up the speed as we go along. Yes, it's a Thursday, 2nd of December 2021. The year is drawing to an end. We know the month has just started.
And not any other month, but a festival month.
Exactly. It's the month of festivities. Christmas is around the corner. It's actually knocking on the door. Yeah, what are your preparations for Christmas, and what are you doing, for you to celebrate the coming of Christmas?
For the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, the birth.
For us who believe in, the Christians who believe in Christ, yeah. What are you doing to prepare for this season?
But apart from how getting ready for the season, we all know that when they talk about December, what comes in your mind is food. It will be food, and another thing is holiday.
Exactly.
Because actually throughout the year there is that time when you don't have time for yourself, maybe going for tour, resting, and also laying off work. But when December knocks in, at least you have to rest. Give it, even if it's a week, yeah, that is some time for you and your family to come together. There are those who go in the villages, especially towards the Christmas day itself. Yeah, there are those who go back to the village. But whatever it may be, it comes back to you. How are you going to celebrate it? How has been your year? And because we all know that the year has been a stressful year, we have had our ups and downs, so you better utilize this month of December very well.
Exactly. What Brenda has said is actually very true. But I want to ask you, who are you celebrating your Christmas with? Where are you celebrating it, from? And what are you doing to celebrate, Christmas? But anyways, leaving that alone, as I've said, today is Thursday, 2nd of December 2021. Here in Kampala, we have woken up with a fairly okay weather. It's not cold, it's not hot, it's just fine. So for those of you who are going to work, if you're already on the road, it should be a smooth ride for the most of us. There shouldn't be a lot of traffic jam on most intersections. Usually, I don't know, like traffic jam in Kampala has mood swings. On some days you can find very hectic jam, and on days where you expect it to have a lot of jam, the roads are clear.
Yeah, actually, I also keep on wondering about how come. Yeah, there are those days when you expect, especially Monday and Friday, you expect jam, but also in between the week, is it a Wednesday or Thursday?
Thursdays. Usually on Thursdays.
You
There's
also
no jam.
There is no jam, but there are those days when jam hits, and there are those days you don't expect jam, but from there when you're like, what caused this jam? Because sometimes it's explainable for the Monday where everybody is rushing to work, and there are those who go up country, they're coming back preparing for work, and Fridays there are those who are going up country and everything. Now that's why the jam is explained, but in between the week there are those days you don't expect jam, but out of the blue you're shocked on the road.
Exactly. Now, something actually surprised me yesterday when I was leaving town. It was as early as around 5:30, leaving from Entebbe Road, heading back home, and the road was clean.
Okay.
Now, this came to me as a shock because, yes, I know there is curfew, but at the same time, that road is one of the busiest commuter roads that I know. And by that alley, there were not many cars. You could spot like 1, 2 cars, and the road was clean. There was no traffic jam. This includes all the way from Nasa Road, where there's a lot of congestion, all the way to Queens roundabout, Queens Tower, and there was no jam. I was like, there were no cars. I was like, okay, what is happening?
But we shouldn't forget yesterday was World AIDS Day, so you never know, maybe we are taking a rest and they are going for testing and everything. Various ways on how they could spend their day.
Exactly. But yes, that is what's happening in Kampala, and some of the things that happened today and yesterday here and around Kampala. Yes, and these are some of the topics that we talk about here on Behold Africa. I would like to engage you in most of these topics because I want to hear your views on some of these stories that we bring to you here on Behold Africa. We want to get some of your opinions on what we talk about. You can interact with us in the comment sections below, and we shall read out your responses to the viewers and also respond to any questions that you pose.
Well, as you're listening to us and watching us live wherever you are, be it in your bed, there are those who are going to work, and especially since the show it's a very early morning show, like it's 6, 7 a.m. There are those who are available to watch it, and there are those who even watch it when they are at their office already.
Exactly.
So it favors everybody out there, and you don't have any excuse that maybe I have to share this. No, it's an online. You can always view it wherever you are. Now, don't forget, Behold Africa, we bring you the top world stories. We bring you stories in Africa also. We also bring you those trending stories on social media. What is trending that you didn't know about? And don't forget, Behold Africa, we bring you news that you have not seen anywhere. Now, starting with that, we all remember that yesterday was the World AIDS Day, and the theme of yesterday was End the Pandemic. No, it was End Inequalities, End AIDS, and End the Pandemic. That was the theme of yesterday. And everybody was called in the struggle to end AIDS and everything, fight AIDS. How? Because they are also emphasizing to go for testing and everything. I'll just first of all pose a question. Do you know your HIV status? If you don't know, you better take care of your life and check yourself. You never know.
And how many of us actually went for testing? Because it is always right for you to actually know your status. Know your standings, know your partner's status before you can go any further with your relationship with anyone else out there.
Well, in relation to that, yesterday also the President, His Excellency Museveni, came in and also gave a remark and gave his speech towards it. And his main speech was he called upon the public to stop stigmatizing against people living HIV/AIDS, but rather support them to live positively and live a better health condition. He lashed this to doctors who he says prioritize money and focusing, because we all aware we're in a situation where doctors are striking, they're laying down, they want to sit down strike because they want a salary increment. Now he says in the times like this where doctors focus on money rather than treating the sick, it's a generation where we need to change our mindset for everybody in the world, but also everybody. You need to support whoever is living with HIV. Stop stigmatizing them and stop pointing fingers. And we all know that earlier in the days when somebody if you knew that somebody has HIV or is living with HIV, you don't want them to get close.
Exactly.
But days have come past like that. There are those who live. There are those even who have HIV, but you don't know they're HIV positive. Because of the better treatment and everything. But more or less, there are those small loopholes that we all need to take part, and that's why the president called upon everybody to at least support these people, because they go through the psychological torture, and in case you would stigmatize them, you're adding on the burden they have.
And that is true. What Brenda is talking about, we actually covered a story yesterday about Lutaya, who was the first Ugandan artist to actually come out and to the general public say, you know what, I am HIV positive and I'm okay with that, And that was the first case in Uganda. But from that time to now, a lot has changed. Back then, there was a lot of stigmatization where, these people were actually criticized very, very much, and the community kind of shunned them. You have someone who is HIV positive, you say, you know what, you can't hang out with us, you can't use the same cup with me, you can't do this, you can't do that. But from then, it's because we didn't know how it is caused, how it is spread, and what effects it brings onto us. But up to this very point, a lot of discoveries have been made, just like any other disease that we have lived with or any other virus that we have encountered. Now, of course, the methods of transmission, we all know them. You're either born with it, but before you're born with it, it has to be sexually transmitted, or through some contact with blood. So it's not that if you shake someone's hand, you're going to get it. No, that is cholera, not AIDS. So
and,
yeah,
and some other diseases.
and some other diseases,
Maybe
which is
COVID
not AIDS.
also, because COVID, if you tell somebody, and maybe they touch their nose and all that,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
also spread.
So yeah, the only way that you're going to get infected with HIV/AIDS is if you come in contact with someone's blood who is infected, or through sexual intercourse. But those are the only ways we know right now. So yes, this gives us a gap to actually think, okay, this person is HIV positive, we are living under the same roof, or we are living in the same community, but what can I do to help them, at the same time, I don't have to, shun them away like, hey, you can't touch my cup, you're going to give me AIDS. No, that's not how it works. Yeah.
Days have passed when you
Yeah.
need to move away from that, because
Exactly.
actually when you look at it, them themselves, people living with HIV, there are those few parties who have come out and also advocated their rights and also promoted. They said, no, we live with HIV, but we are happily living a healthy life. You're
Exactly.
seeing us moving. Now, how about you out there who is maybe HIV negative? What are you doing to support these people living with HIV? If them, they're living a live example to the people who are HIV positive, and they're also telling you people who are negative not to shun them away, not to stigmatize them. Also, you need to play your role and not stigmatize them. At least embrace them, because we all know the clear ways of how somebody can get HIV.
Yeah.
And we have seen the likes of, I would say, Katamba, that like he came in and also he named it and he said it was HIV positive, and people talked a lot, but he said, hey, this is my status, I cannot take it out.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm coming out is to strengthen these people living with it, that it's not the end of it, because we know if you get the right treatment, you can live longer, you can last longer. And not only him, you are talking about Philip Bongo Lemitaya. Even yesterday we gave you the biography of him. He was one of the most advocates supporting people who are living with HIV. And actually he played a song, he said, today is me, tomorrow is somebody else. So you never know. You are shining them away, but today it may be that person, then tomorrow it may be you. There is change. You never know how it will be.
Yeah.
And in relation to what we were talking about, what the president said, he said also, he talked to the youth and he said, why don't you abstain? There is that chance of abstaining. There is no need to rush. And if you may, in case you need to have sex, at least you do the right way, you go through the right ways and use protected sex, unless if you know the status of your partner. And also avoid those contracted other partners, that like you have the joint partners, you have ways and you have the other. That is also not good.
Yeah.
But also in his statement, he said he asked parents, actually he posed the question and he said, what does it benefit you to enjoy, to have 15 minutes of pleasure, and again you lose the rest of your life, or you live the rest of your life in misery?
Yeah.
He emphasized the parents also to open up to their children about HIV on the world stage.
That is very true. But at the same time, as we're still talking about this, we were, since we have established that the common way, the common method of contracting HIV was through sexual intercourse, the president spoke about this, and he told youngsters, if you can't abstain, use at least use protection. Now we have noticed that several companies came out, and advertised the method that we all know that could protect you about 98% from contracting this, which is through protection. Now several companies and corporations came out, should I say a hashtag or a trend? Yeah.
Hashtag use condom, but
Exactly.
it's a good, because before even you continue further, to let you know that basically in the world, there are few people, especially here in Uganda, the report is only 20% use condoms. Only 20% use condoms.
But that percentage should go up. It
That
should
is
go
if we
up.
all work together, because in the report of the USAID report and their main target come maybe 2030, they're looking at least condom, you emphasizing and preaching the condom, that everybody out there who is having live sex at least to use what? Condoms.
Yes. Now, at least I have noticed this from many dispensaries, many clinics, referral hospitals. and all of those sorts. Even regional hospitals
They're
and
called-
health center trees.
You can call it a sweet if maybe I need that sweet if you go to the pharmacy. You can
Ex-
spice it up.
No, but you see, at the pharmacy you actually buy them, but at most of these government facilities, they have like a box somewhere on the facility. Where
Most of the government facilities, they always have that box of condoms,
Yes,
at least for
exactly.
the people.
And
But also for those who cannot access them, they get a challenge when they go to the shops or to the pharmacies to purchase them. And in case you find somebody on the neighborhood or close by, maybe he's on the next of the line, and you have that, you're afraid of maybe purchasing the condoms. You get, but still, it's up to you. It's your life. Well, you can spice it up, and you say, "I need a kiss sweet." Yeah, because somebody I think will understand. Just spice it up, and
for
but
us,
it's your
actually,
life.
most of Ugandans I have noticed would call it a CD.
acid.
Yeah,
You can call
that's,
it.
This has I think.
Well, that's MTN for you. MTN said everywhere you go, and as you're seeing it, please. Various. I like
the slogans that they came up with during the advertising of using protection. If you are to use, if you are to get involved, the slogans were just amazing. For MTN was everywhere you go. Several other companies, of course.
You had also roofings also.
Let me see. Roofings was something like
Roofing
be
is
a man, be a man, and put a house over, put a roof over your head. Now this one actually just, it was just
But how
amazing.
can you live in a house without a roof? You need to roof it.
That's not the head that they meant.
I know, that's what I'm saying in relation to this. That's good. If you must tell your house, please use that.
Yeah, then Uganda Airlines was fly safely, you know.
Because that is a flight that you need to fly safely.
Exactly. ABSA was if you must make a deposit, you know. So they were very interesting ones. But yes, this was all about World AIDS Day and how to go about it, and you know how to play it safe and avoid any more avoid contraction of this very, very deadly virus, which is up to now we have not found a cure. We have found, you know, some way of pushing on with life with the ARVs, but that is not a cure, it's just a support supplement. So yes, the best way is abstain, or if you must, use some kind of protection.
Not only use the protection. That is, it shouldn't be a debate on it, at least, unless you know the status of the person you are with. Now going into other news, we are all aware we still trying to get the suspects of the bomb blast that happened in Kampala. The police are doing so, and the move is still continuing. Ever since the incidents happened in Kampala at CPS and also the Jubilee House, Parliament Arena. Not only those instances, we had the previous instances, the Komamboga bomb blast and others. But ever since the bomb blast started, the police has been going on with doing various investigations and are getting at least some of the suspects. Now, yesterday they managed to at least get one of the suspects who is linked to making the bomb. That was at least who they say that the police managed to. They arrested one of the They linked the bomb making materials. They arrested him from Kajansi. They suspected him to be in the links with the ADF. The Joint Intelligence Counter Task have arrested another suspect also who is in the same link, and this one is identified as Chiemba Isma. He's aged at 24, and when you look at him, he's just so young.
He's so young.
He's so young.
But you see, at that age, I would say at that age we're looking for quick money. At the same time, most of us have the brains to actually pull off some weird stunts, you know. At that age is where innovation is at its peak. You know?
And actually, for what they're saying, this same Isma Chiemba is the same person who made the suicidal bomb of this person who was on the bus, who is known as Muzaffaru, Matul Muzaffaru. So the bomb he was putting on was made by this gentleman, this Isma.
Now, as you know, from this bomb blast that happened in Uganda, the investigations that were ongoing was to trace for the material that was used, because it was assessed that these bombs were locally made here in Uganda. Now, the investigation started off by looking into the material, what was used, and the possible places that they could be found. and with this they were able to narrow it down to, a few suspects that were, it is possible that the ones who were making these bombs. Now, the suspect that has been arrested is a 24-year-old by the names Isma Chiemba, who was arrested in Kajansi as of yesterday. But still, they're still looking into this because, it might not be one person, it might be a joint a joint operation where it's not just one person who makes a bomb, but a number of people or even an organization. So yes, they have arrested this suspect, and of course they are going to interrogate him, and we shall get more, or if he's to be convicted or charged of these cases. But at the same time, they have not stopped there. They are still continuing with the investigations to find out if he's the only one or there are others.
Of course, the police say that he's not the only one. They're still going. The investigations are still going on, and they're going to arrest more because you have seen he's not the first person who has been arrested. Various suspects. The last time I saw it was 106 around there, but still the number also increased. And along the way, there are those suspects who have been trying to resist the arrest, and they are shot to death. Especially, I'll give you an example of Sheikh Chirevo, whom the police say was also one of the suspects of the bomb at Pumblas. But we leave that to the security, and we believe they're doing the same thing. But don't forget, as they're also doing their part, the attack is still on, because they say the threats are still on. You as an individual, it goes back to you. You need to be alert. You need to be, that vigorous is needed. Why? However much it comes out as a bomb sky, no matter what. As long as you see something suspicious, just report it to the security forces. They will help you on that, and they will come on board. Now going into, we all know we are into the festive seasons and everything. People they need to transport themselves to various. They need to go to the villages.
Most of us running up country, we go celebrate with our parents, grandparents, and our families up country. But yeah, as we plan to head up country or wherever you plan on celebrating from, it's very interesting that some people actually move from up country to come to the city to celebrate Christmas. Whereas
no, the thing is with Christmas, Christmas is all about, as I told you, it's all about enjoying. Eating is also part of enjoyment. Having a holiday, just go where you think you will have fun. Now, there are those people who are in the villages. They're like, in Christmas, I want to go in the town, maybe to my auntie, and celebrate Christmas.
Also,
you want to change the environment.
Also, there are people who work in the remote areas. Those people working with NGOs who are dispatched to very remote areas. So yes, it makes sense that they are leaving that place and coming back to the city where their families are to celebrate with them.
So they utilize that time.
Yes, that is
now,
true.
but there is an alarm in the increase of transportation. We all know that with the prices of fuel increased, and we knew that this was going to. On the previous, we had 4,500.
Previously, before the increment, it was around 4,200. The cheapest going for 3,888. But currently, the cheapest you're going to find is 4,800, 4,480. I have seen somewhere where it is 4,800.
These are price fuel.
These are the price ranges for fuel. For those of you who drive, you have most definitely noticed this on your pocket. At the same time, as you move in or around town, you have noticed the increase in fuel. But of course, with the increase in the fuel prices, which, let me go with the highest, is 4,800 that I've noticed, you are going to know, you most definitely know the journey that would have taken you 200,000 is either going to become 270,000 or 320,000. Those are the price ranges of fuel. At the same time, it puts the same stress on the public transportation. These are our buses that we use for us who live up country. You're going to notice that the transport fares are going to also go up. And why is this? This is because they're also trying to, it's a business, yeah. Despite that they are, helping us move from one place to another, but it still remains a business, and that means they need to make profits. But also at the same time, they need to make some cost cuts. The fuel has increased. What are we going to do to also, afford the fuel to move these passengers from one place to another? Hence, the increase of transportation fares.
And now when you look at the transportation fares, it's not only, they say it's not only linked to the fuel pricing, or the hike in the fuel pricing, but also it's linked to the COVID-19.
Yeah.
But now the thing is, we all know COVID-19 has been around since 2020, and the prices, and I don't think there is an increase in COVID-19. No, COVID-19 has been around. It's only that maybe the COVID-19 that has been on is also reducing, and we are all aware that the variant that is going on, and that is not yet here right now. But still, when they say, okay, the price falls, we understand, but still they shouldn't hike it, because you're going to reduce some of the figures, and yet the figures or the prices are alarming. Now the bus association came in, and they took in the discussion, and they say they're going to involve the ministry to also talk to see what they have to say about it. But from what I know, they say the prices start right today Thursday.
Yeah, but just to put into consideration, there are three aspects for the rising of these fares. Specifically, I'm talking about the bus fares because usually they are the cheapest. We look at COVID. So when you look at COVID, you're looking at the SOPs that they must follow. That includes carrying half capacity. So that means every passenger is meant to pay twice the usual price. That is prior to COVID. Then there is the fuel price increase. Of course, they also have to calculate for the fuel that they are going to, put in the tank, and at the same time, that means even that is going to put on the transportation, the passenger. Thirdly, we are getting into the festival season. We know this one here never changes. It's a trend. During the COVID, during the festive season, I'm talking about Christmas time, between about 15th to 26th to 27th, around there, or even New Year's, the transportation fares shoot up ridiculously. So with these three aspects put in mind, you will most definitely see ridiculous prices on to wherever you travel from. Now, for those of you who travel with several bus companies, the one that we have got today is YY. Now, YY takes the eastern routes, that is from central to eastern Uganda and to the north. Now, some of the fares that we saw from YY starting today are Kampala to Mbale, 35,000 Ugandan shillings. Kampala to Jinja, 20,000 shillings. Now, I'd like to talk about these two districts for starters. Previously, from Kampala to Jinja in a taxi cost you about 6,000 to 8,000 maximum. This was around 2019 to 2018. Now, 2021, you're looking at 20,000. That is to move from Kampala to Jinja. From
only
6,000.
one journey.
From 6,000. That's one journey from here to Jinja. Yeah. Where Mbale is a bit further, but at some point it costs you 15,000 or even 12,000. Yeah.
From where to where?
From Kampala to Mbale. There's a time, I think, also between 2018. Yeah, 2018 to 2019. There's a point where it was 12,000, 15,000, but now it's 35,000. There is Iganga, which is the same price as Jinja, which is 20,000. Kumi, 40,000. Otuboy, 50,000. Dokolo, 50,000. Soroti. These are all from Kampala, yeah, from Kampala, that destination. Soroti, 40,000. Apak, 50,000. Aduku, 50,000. Lira Loro via Karuma, 40,000. Arua, 50,000. Nebi and Pakwach, 40,000. Koboko, 60,000. And Yembe, 70,000. Now, of course, there are other districts that, if you live those ends, of course, there are other districts that we might not be able to read here. But yes, these are some of the fares for specifically YY, which takes the eastern route. But you should know that there are other bus companies which take the western route, and so many others. Definitely know that the transport fares are going to shoot up with those bus companies also. Now, in comparison, if the journey from here to Mbale, which is almost equivalent from here to Mbarara, yeah, you should also be looking at the same prices between 35,000 and 50,000 for those of us who are traveling to the west. So yeah, you should just look into that range and be prepared for in case you are to travel to any of those destinations. It's going to put a dent on your wallet. So please, you travel, but yeah, don't get stranded on the way when they ask for the money and you don't have it. You know.
I know we have updated you about that. For those who are planning to travel, don't be surprised when you reach that park and they tell you that's the amount they tell no. And then you cannot get that information anywhere apart from the whole Africa. Now we go into Zimbabwe, where they have begun their new round of COVID-19 vaccination. We all know this has been going on and there, but now at least another session, another phase has been introduced in Zimbabwe.
Yes. Now we have a video that we're going to play for you. Now you should keep in mind Zimbabwe is one of the African countries which has been lacking behind on vaccination, just like most African countries have. The vaccination rate in Zimbabwe is small compared to the number of infections that have broken out from within the country. But with the new variant just on the border, Zimbabwe is very close to South Africa and Botswana, where of course the Omicron variant has emerged. Zimbabwe is now on the streak to actually get its population vaccinated at least for the second round, and this is to help the Zimbabwean nationals to try and mitigate the effects of COVID and at the same time keep away the Omicron variant. But my question is, isn't this a little bit too late? Yes, I appreciate the government taking this effort to actually try and vaccinate the population of Zimbabwe, but at the same time this should have been ramped up previously, like before we have gotten into this ruckus of the Omicron. Every country is now on the lookout, every country is in frenzy. They are trying to get their population to stay away from you have seen travel bans from South Africa to most countries. Now Zimbabwe is very close to South Africa, very, very close, but they have been lacking behind on vaccination. But the good news is, they're trying to vaccinate the population, and I hope it's going to be one way of, trying to mitigate the effects of COVID and avoid any further infections.
Well, we are going to leave you with that video, but don't forget, for those who need computer training services, maybe you need internet cafe, you can go to Milao's computer training center. They give you the services. If you need to be printing and scanning and all that, you can go to Kasanalu, Welo, Mavanda, and their number is 0770707536. We leave you with that video, and we're also going into a short commercial break, but coming back we have a lot more to tell you.
At public and private hospitals here in Zimbabwe, a new round of COVID-19 vaccination has begun due to the discovery of new COVID-19 variant Omicron in neighboring South Africa last week.
Being vaccinated, I feel safe and more protected from the pandemic. Yeah, I think that's all. I feel secure.
With 134,625 COVID cases, over 3.7 million people have received their first dose of the vaccine, while 2.7 million are fully vaccinated.
We are aware that we have got a lot of Zimbabweans who are based in South Africa and Botswana, and the majority of them were going to come back home, for the festive season. And it then creates that challenge of the risk of transmission, given the fact that, our land borders are very porous.
Last week, the Zimbabwean government told citizens not to panic over the Omicron variant outbreak. The discovery has caused many nations to suspend flights with 6 Southern African nations, a move which has been criticized by WHO.
My name is Bukenya Rocky, and my dream is to become a physical engineer. So I follow youth media in order to pursue my dream. I would encourage you to follow youth media on Facebook, Google, Twitter, in order to pursue also your dreams.
My name is Gita William. Engeri gye tuli mu COVID, tetusobola ku accessing amasomero. Ade bataddewo ekitongole website yaffe eya UTC Media batukubiriza abazadde bafundika abaana baabwe basobola tufollowinga ku platform zaffe nga Twitter, Facebook, IG, developing minds zaabwe in various technical activities such as abaana basobola oyiga website designing, graphic designing n'ebirala nga tebagenze kusomero naye nga balivudde waka. So tukubiriza abazadde bagulire abaana baabwe data bagezeeko okukola okusubscribinga n'okufollowinga UTC Media bajja laba nga abaana bafunye ekintu
njeko basewo ne waniawo amanya gange itiba mugisha gansimije nga ndi muyizo okuba ekitangala high school. Ndi wano okubategeeza nti nze nandiyagadde okubeera modo oba kazanyiriza oba actor ajjudde. Era ndi wano okubategeeza nti olwa corona twagiddwa ebintu bingi, tubundiddwa ebintu bingi nga for example TV bakali bwe tuli abaana bangi ffenna tugikozesa tetusobola laba kye twagala. The same time kadi for example nze ndabya abamodo baganda bange bagala kyawe kati kyawe tubeera tugera kulwanira TV. Kyeneebaza kyenjaba bagamba nti olwa youth media omutimbagano omupya batukoleddeyo youth media tukoleddeyo website yaffe empya wetusobola okujjawo ekimu kye twetaaga. So nandiyagadde baganda bange abalala kati nganze ngenda nembeera ku yamodo benjagala n'ebirala ebintu bye nandiyagadde okulaba. Era namwe mbakubiriza mugende namwe mugende mu youth media musobole okulaba kye mwagala ate ekisinga nabo ya ku masimu gammwe ku laptop byonna alina gadget ze mulina.
Welcome back from that short commercial break, bringing you the top world. Now this is the new section which we call the trending stories. Well, for those who are just joining us, this is Behold Africa. Behold Africa is usually happening from 7 up to 8:30, and usually they're from Monday to Friday, bringing you news in the world, news in Africa, and the trending stories. Just joining us, we tell you that as you're joining us, follow us on also other social media platforms, be it media on YouTube, youth media on Facebook, and youth media on Instagram. You're there on Twitter. You're also there. Share the link for others to also follow us. Please also share us a comment. We can always read it on air. Now, in this new trending stories, we have a trending story about how the rumors are that Rihanna, you know, she's pregnant. And she showed up in one of the events when she had put on a long dress, but at least the bumper was popping out. But those people, there are those who are saying that actually she's not pregnant. And even my Jude here is saying she's not pregnant.
Well, you know, this story here is very interesting, especially to me. She's an icon, and you know, there's a lot of mixed reaction around this rumor. Now, these photos were taken at the event back at in her country, where she was named the national hero back at Belarus, and of course, after the event, as you know, social media is social media. You know, some individual noticed that she had a kind of a bump, you know, and the obvious speculation was she is pregnant. But what's your take? You know, what's your take? I think, you know, it could just be the dress as they're showing you there. But at the same time, it could be true because, you know, analysts, you know, photographic analysts say...
And there is a picture missing when the pregnancy is like portraying it out, like, but still, to me, there is no, for those who know her and you know her figure and everything, if in case, because even Jude, when you see me, there are those days when you see me, maybe the stomach popping out, you will also wonder. Okay, so on her it's very clear, but we all know that pregnancy grows bigger and bigger day by day, so we shall see it.
We shall see. But as I was saying, you know, from the analytics from some of these photos, you know, most of the people out there are saying, you know, the posture that she was standing in could be one of the reasons why it sparked off a lot of reactions. You know, she's trying to cover her bump, but at the same time, that's just a position of you know, showing respect, especially when you're talking to a public audience or big figures. And this was a big event in the country, and I think, you know...
No, how she was seated wasn't the problem, but her sitting, whatever she was, and the stomach popped out.
Well...
It was noticed. How come that other days we don't notice it?
But at the same time...
Well, the one of the circulating, at least news coming in from her clique, that when she was boarding off the plane, at least they say that, yeah, she's pregnant.
Well, we are yet to confirm that Rihanna is pregnant, but these are some of the rumors that are circulating around her, you know, that she's pregnant. Well, we shall have to first wait and see, because, you know, we actually don't have the right to, you know, say she's pregnant or not, because this is a personal matter. If she wants to let us know that she is pregnant, she will most definitely come out and say she's pregnant. But another interesting bit is on her Twitter, she came out and said, you know what, let this, you know, see how this plays out. Let us just imagine I'm pregnant.
That's
so
what she said.
Yeah, you know,
yeah. That leaves a question mark. Nobody says that if they're not.
Yeah, well, you know,
like she was just telling you.
Rihanna, one thing you should know about Rihanna, she's an outgoing person. You have seen in most instances where she comes out and she's criticized about something, she doesn't fire back. You know, most of the time she will say, "Okay, that is what you think. So what?"
Okay, now
that is the most interesting thing. This is why it has brought about a lot of reaction. Yeah.
And a lot of contradicting, but still we leave it up to her. We shall see. Pregnancy does not go within, but anyway, whether she wants to hide it from us or what, we shall see it in the end. And even if she's pregnant, we are happy for her because it has been a while. We have seen the likes of Beyonce that have given birth, and I believe she's in the same age mates and all that.
No, they are not the same age group.
But at least they're in the same.
But in the same industry, though, not in the same age group. Yeah, but yeah, let us see. It will be good news, but at the same time heartbreaking for most of us out there.
Why?
You know?
Why would it be heartbreaking?
For the guys.
You had
not for the ladies, but for the guys.
You mean you had hopes of having a child with
not specifically I, but there are a lot of people, especially for those of us who
but you're representing the majority out there. I'm
giving a general view. For the guys out there, most of us look at Rihanna as you know, an icon. And you know, if you're icon, you don't want anything to happen to them. You want them to be as pure as they are. You know, you want them to be just that. If they add on anything else, it is heartbreaking, no matter what it is. You know, you look at your movie stars. You know, every time you hear that he has got an accident or he's in hospital or something has happened to him, good or bad, you know, you always feel heartbroken. You know, one way or another. So this is what I'm saying. You know, for those of us who love Rihanna, we love her as she is. Now, her getting pregnant is something else. So
anyway, it's up to her. I believe as long as she's still producing the good music, because that's what we know her about, so we'll leave it to that. Now going into here, our very odd, we are all aware. Do you know Evelyn Nagu?
Yeah.
Evelyn Nagu. You have had her past situation on how she has been sick and suffering from the kidney problem and all that. Now we have seen various ways on how they have been raising money for her to go for treatment there and there, but up to now things have not gone good. And even up to now, people thought that for the last time, because I think they have tried to gather money for her and raising campaigns. It was so far there are like 3 campaigns for her that have been existing, and not any of them have been successful for her to be in a good state and a healthy state. And even there is one point when the government came in and the president also supported her and paid the bills for her to at Nakasero Hospital.
Yeah.
But up to now, her health is still in a bad condition. Where even for that, I'll just even talk about the last instance where we had gathered money for her and all that. Did you gather money? Did you help in the situation? That did you listen?
Not sure. I don't keep some records, but it is possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, well, we all know that for the past instance, we are all sure that she was going to for the kidney transplant, and there was conflicts where the child, the son, actually was meant to give. To be the donor, but that didn't allow it, and like, no, how can my only child be involved in? So what if the child loses their lives?
Yeah.
Just get another donor. And the mother said, I didn't force the child, but the child wanted to do it.
Exactly.
So we didn't actually. Me, I thought maybe it was successful in one way or the other, because we left a note when she had gone, and they said that they laid out the amount of money they had collected by that time. But now news circulating back again on our air that she's still in the hospital. She has been in the hospital now, critically ill and severely ill, in Chirudo Hospital. You know Chirudo Hospital?
Yeah.
Yeah, she has been there for the past 2 months.
That is a very long time.
Yeah.
That is a very long time.
And
but
now they're calling people. Actually, when they did an interview with her, she's like, they asked her, why didn't you tell her? She's like, no, people have supported me a lot. I appreciate. People have managed. They have been there for me. They have gathered. Now again, coming out in the public. But I believe if you really love her and you're a fan, you never get tired, as long as, because our main aim is her getting well and getting back on stock and giving us that good music.
Yeah, but at the same time, probably what is causing this is because she was meant to get a transplant in Turkey.
Yeah.
So she actually traveled there, but on getting there, they weren't able to go on with the procedure because the doctors there said it was a risky procedure and it could create a bad implication and at the same time, cause more complications. And she returned from Turkey without the transplant.
Yeah.
Now, this could be one of the reasons why she is back in hospital, because she was not able to get that transplant and they were not able to go ahead with the procedure that was scheduled to go on, in Turkey.
And now she's like back on zero.
Yes, exactly. She's it's like a relapse, if something doesn't work out, you go back to square one, and this is what is happening to her. It is very sad, but at the same time we keep her in prayer and our support.
Well, the reason why I brought this story is to let you know that she's back and she needs your support, however much she's still being resistant coming out to the public, because she's like, people have supported her, but still we never get. The main important thing was for you to get well and better, to see you back on stage, giving us that. I'm a lover of Evelyn Nagu. I've seen her way back when she began her first song. I won't sing this time, this early morning. I won't sing for you. But also I've seen her in movies playing. I love the character in her, and seeing her sick and not being able to get out of the situation. But the only thing we can do as public is send our prayers to her, and also send whatever you can or whatever you have for her at least.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, going into other news, before we always in this session we bring you the trailer and all that trending story. But now, before we go into the trailer, there is a story that I would like to read about. We all know we have heard various rumors about the Nollywood actors, where they said we recently talked about one of them who was saying he had died.
Yeah.
No. Now today we had gathered some of those Nollywood actors who have passed away come in this 2021. And we want to read for you a story and some of this, not just going on mere rumors, but at least you know the basis on who and who. We have some of the pictures that are going to be displayed on your screen. At least you know who and who has passed in this year. And coming up from the Nollywood, we all know these are actors in Nigeria. You love, maybe, do you love Nigeria, Jude?
Yes, I do love Nigerian movies.
Which one do you love the most? Which one have you watched and you're like?
Aki and Popo.
Aki and Popo.
Those are my one of my all-time favorite movies. It's comedy, family, and so much more. So it's a full package.
Well, today we are bringing you 8. I love Nigeria. I have seen many Nigerian movies, and not long ago the Nigerian movies were rocking here in Uganda.
Even up to this very point.
Yeah, but they have reduced, I would say.
That's because we are now we're also trying to consume our own content.
Our own content, but also we are now looking at also the European movies and all that now. Now today we bring you the 8 Nollywood stars who have died in 2021, and we begin with, first of all, Mrs. Folaki Aremo. And Mrs. Folaki Aremo, they're going to be displaying her picture there on the screen. She is better known as Orisambo, who died on she died in January 5th, 2021, and she's a renowned actress who was born in Ola Kawata State, died at the age of 60 years. Now we go to Jim Rason Maduke. Rason Maduke, they're going to be displaying that picture. For those who know that gentleman, he also died the same month with the previous person whom I mentioned, the Floki Aremo. He died. For him, he died. Actually, they lost 2 actors in 1 month.
Yeah.
For him, he died on 9th of January, still 2021. We go to David Milao. David Milao. They're displaying some of these pictures. Now, David Milao also died in January.
That's around 11.
11.
I think, yeah. I heard about this one.
You heard about him,
yeah.
eh? And he looks so young. He died at a day, and we are still enjoying more music from him. Then we have another one known as Nkolagu. Nkolagu died in January, still 2020. On the 22nd of 2021, still this year, and he died at the age of 83. You know what? When I look at Dan Nkolagu, we used to watch of those movies when he used to act as the elders.
The chief, yeah.
Yeah, the elder chief, and they were interesting, but talent was lost there. Then you have Unrest Asuzi, who died in January, still 2026. I would say January was a month.
Yeah.
For them to. Then also the list is still continuing, as I said, there are 8 of them, but I'll jump and go to Bruno, that gentleman. They're going to be displaying his face there. For him, he died on the April 10th, still this year. And we end with lastly Rachel Bakama died in April 13th, 2021, and she worked as a writer, a TV host, and also a producer. Well, that marks the end of that news, the trending stories, and those who are wondering, there are those who are circulating those fake news that this one and this one died like those. There are also those previous instances when one of the movie actor came in and said, no, my husband is alive, and much is suffering from various diseases, but he's still alive. Now, like Jacob Olo, Jacob Lewis, now he's not among the people who died this year in Nigeria. Now, going into the trending trailer, we bring you a movie that Jude has to share with you.
Yes. Now, today is a Thursday, and it's coming to a weekend, and one of these days is usually like family night, and I want to bring you a movie that you could watch with your family. Today's movie is actually an animation. It's called Encanto. Now, Encanto is a family show, lots of comedy, lots of adventure, and since it's an animation, you can watch it with your family, you can watch it with your siblings, your children, your nephews, and so many more. Now, if you have watched an animation called Coco, if you have not, please do go and watch. Yes, the same producers who made Coco are the ones who made Encanto, and if you enjoyed Coco, you most definitely will enjoy Encanto. It is very interesting, and I advise you to actually go and watch the movie. Don't just stop on the trailer. But at the same time, I know you will most definitely watch the movie because the trailer is awesome. And with that, let us dive into the trailer of Encanto. Here is the trailer for you.
Many years ago, this candle blessed our family with a miracle. Our house, our casita, came to life with magic.
Hola, casita.
Floors! Drawers! Let's go! In time, every member of our family,
Cecilia, up top!
was given their own magical gift.
I understand you.
I'm not super strong like Luisa.
The donkeys got out again.
On it! or effortlessly perfect like Señorita Perfecta Isabella. But Mama, why am I the only one that didn't get a gift? You're just as special as anyone else in this family. You just healed my hand with an arepa con queso.
Casita?
What's going on?
The magic is in danger. We gotta get out of here!
We must protect our home. We must protect our family.
This is my chance. I will save the magic. Wait, how do I save the magic?
I'm losing my gift!
Mirabel, the fate of the family is gonna come down to you.
I can't do this.
Let me help you. The rats told me everything. Don't eat those.
Even in our darkest moments, there's light where you least expect it.
That has been Encanto, the trailer. So please do go watch the movie. The movie is already out, so yeah, go on the streets and look for it, or if you can stream it, please do stream it from wherever. Now, as I said, it is very interesting. It is by the makers of Zootopia and Moana. As you can see, there is a little, there's a little similarity with Moana, the adventures, and yeah, so much more. So please do go and enjoy Encanto. But with that, it marks the end of the section, this segment, which is trending stories. And yeah, we are still continuing, but we are going to go into a short break. When we get back, we dive into the top world stories. Let's dive into a short break.
Mbere nisoma sinyathiri then kwizire COVID-19 wasitopingamu konka baletaho omusomo gw'okwegira aha simu kugwizire nafunaho ekitongole nakita UTC media kiine ebikwegise kale ekyo ekitongole kyegese eminyeeto kiine engyeri ekikukwegisamu kiwe nk'omuntu then waheza nofunamu eki waaba noyenda kukora mbwenu kanye oyine ekirooto ky'okuba omunamahurire then kanye then twasitokire okwega bakanza kukifunamu okwo nabo nibaasa kunyongerayo kufunako ekirooto kyangye then nimpabura abazaire bitu okutogorra amasimu ga smartphone then nyo kanye Diana kuri mbe ntine smartphone ndenda kuza kufuna ekyo ekitongole then kumperize nimpabura abazaire okugurira abaana data smartphone then kweyongerayo ha birooto byabo then nanye ekyo nibyo nambinire
Youth Media, the new era.
Youth Media, the new era. Youth Media, the new era.
Youth Media, the new era.
Welcome back from from that short commercial break as well. Although we appreciate those who have been waiting for us. Yeah, this is another segment that we bring you the top world stories. What's happening in the world at large? What's happening in Europe? What's happening in Asia and other countries? Well, all those who are watching us here live in Kampala, we say you can follow us on other social media platforms, be it Youth Media Facebook, Youth Media YouTube, and Youth Media Instagram, Youth Media Twitter. You just also share your link to your friends and also your circles to follow this great show that happens in the morning. Now, in coming up in the world, we all know the new variant that is going on, the Omicron. Omicron is they say that the numbers raised from South Africa, but it's spreading all over also in other countries. Now the World Health Organization came in and said it has at least now managed to spread in at least 23 countries have also they have. It may be those who have 2 cases, 1 cases, but now at least the number of these countries are emerging to 23.
Exactly, yes. The World Health Organization director came out yesterday and listed some of these countries, out of which some of them we had already told you previously. But yes, he says it is expected that the numbers, the number of infections due to Omicron variant are going to increase. It's still new, and they're still looking into how to tackle it, how it infects, or how it carries. But yes, we have established that it is more mutated, and it has more resistance to the previous variants, which is the Omega and the Alpha. Now, these 23 countries are, the numbers of these countries is still increasing. Previously it was just 7, now it is 23. Among these is, the UK, Netherlands, Germany, the US, and so many others, Czech Republic, and so many others. Now, he came out with this statement and said, we're still looking into how to help, mitigate the effects of, this variant. But at the same time, it's good that it's South Africa, an African country, that actually came out and discovered, the new variant. This shows that even in the African countries, there is work that is being done. They're not just sitting down and letting other countries do the work for them. So yes, it is a good thing. It is a good thing that we are able to discover some of these things on our own, and at the same time help countries out there to help combat the effects of COVID-19 and Corona in general.
Well, not only that, but now, as they say that at least 23 countries, you go into Saudi Arabia, where now they have also managed to detect at least 1 case of the new variant, which is the Omicron. For those who don't know about the Omicron, it's a new variant that is related to COVID-19, and they say this is deadly. Everybody should be very curious on it. How COVID-19 came in, we didn't know how it came in. Like, it just they said that there is new virus that is on board and it's spreading, and everybody took it lightly. Not that it spread in various countries, and it claimed a lot of lives, as in a lot of numbers. Now, even this, you should be very cautious. Please do what you can. Follow the SOPs. You start from the available prevention methods, that is using the SOPs and all that, and also going for vaccination. That is an emphasis, that is a call that is going on to everybody and the community at large. Now, the Saudi Arabia community managed also to detect it. One of the I had not had any case from there, but because we have seen cases coming in from Germany got 2 cases. We also got cases from UK and also US. Now Saudi Arabia at least now also managed to get 1 case, and it starts slowly by slowly. You get one case, then another day you get 2 cases. Not until you're very cautious.
Yes. Now, of course, before the Omicron was discovered, some of the countries like the Netherlands and Australia and Austria were already going into lockdowns. Now, of course, some of these countries are going to begin putting up measures to try and combat this new variant, but also in general COVID-19. Yeah. So yes, we have noticed Netherlands trying to go into the lockdowns and spiking off a lot of protests. So the governments are trying to find a way of doing it smoothly so that it doesn't spike off protests like they have noticed in other countries. Now, From that, we go to the US, where at least one case has been discovered, which is having the Omicron variant. Now, the director Fauci, yeah, he's called Fauci, came out yesterday and gave a report, about the discovery of the new Omicron in one of the travelers who was coming from South Africa. Yesterday we covered a story about the travelers who are stranded.
Returned from South Africa. Yeah, he had returned from South Africa, I would say a week ago, yeah, and he had gone to California, and that's how, after a week later, that's when they realized that, hey, this guy has the Omicron new virus. Now, we all know that as the reports are ongoing, and the way we are looking at it, it's like it's spreading on a high rate now, because we just heard about it recently, but now the cases are emerging day by day. Now, leading the country to the total number of 23 countries, that is a lot. Because now that means even these countries where these cases have gone, the restrictions on the movement